kicking off today, I'm here to give you a BTC update. As you can see, we're going to be starting off on the short-term time frame for Bitcoin at the hourly. Now, what has happened since yesterday, guys? This is really quite interesting because when we were streaming, we were around sort of this area. We were looking for a short position coming through there, and if you guys did jump into the short position, you would have made paper, right? You'd have made that 5% coming down because you saw us dump all the way down and near enough got to the volume weighted ATR band as well. So yeah, really quite progressive in terms of a short position. Very good stuff indeed. So let's get rid of that. That's pretty much done now. But what I do want to say is let's not forget about this this rising parallel channel, guys, because this rising parallel channel is still a valid sort of chart pattern coming through here. We need to take into consideration about this momentum that we are technically finding at the moment, right? Excuse me, the momentum to the upside, which we're currently getting, which seems quite nice, to be honest with you. It's not really too bad. We are setting higher lows pretty well, and if we are going to pull back and bounce off this horizontal at 47,121 here on the short-term time frame, then I can see progression to the upside pulling us up further, and then we could be looking at target prices around 48k there along those lines. Something I did really want to but that's obviously going to be a resistance point to be looking out for, and as we did see yesterday when we did come up and we tested this this dirty trap zone area that we have from that rising parallel channel there, this is the area to be looking out for, guys, because we did see that resistance play out. We know the resistance is there. We know it's going to be there, but it's just how strong is it going to be, right? So that's another thing to take into consideration. But yeah, what we're really looking for now here for Bitcoin is going to be a higher low, right? We're going to be looking for a higher low, and then hopefully that's going to give us some progression. If we start to fall and we start invalidating the most recent higher lows, then it is going to be bearish, guys, and we're going to be having the continuation of this trend to the downside, right? Probably setting lows yet again. And then that brings us onto like the more macro scale. As you can see, we're setting lows in terms of not quite candle body closes here, but these wicks are really quite aggressive to the downside, right? They're really quite aggressive. Not quite as low as that December the 4th crash, all the way down to 42k there, but still quite aggressive for just a bit of a dump coming through there, right? Now, that was obviously, you can see here on the volume, guys, that that's the smart money coming through. Should we change a few of the settings and make that a bit more bright, shall we? No, that's not it. No, I'll have to do that later. Why can't I? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Not the nicest color in the world, but let's make it a bit brighter, shall we? Yeah, there we go. So yeah, as you can see, we've got smart money coming in really quite strong in terms of the volume here. And that's obviously dumping down really hard. And then what we've got after that is the dumb money, guys, the retail clients, the retail traders coming through there. And that's why we're just seeing this side where there's still undecided sort of mentality coming through there. We're seeing a bit of a buyback and then a continuation of the downtrend, which usually happens after smart money dumps there. So yeah, it's quite interesting to see that. But at this point in time, it is looking quite progressive. We are seeing a nice bit of momentum to the upside. I wouldn't say it's smart money getting involved. I wouldn't really say that it's big investors or any really big whales coming through and saying hello here, because you can see the volume really isn't anything to get excited about there. It's still pretty much retail, right, coming through. So yeah, we'll just have to see how this does actually plan out over the next few hours or so. But yeah, key points to be looking out for there is going to be this 48,000 for rejection there. And also, let me bring up the RSI because there is potential for a bearish divergence as well, guys. As you can see, we have got a nice low, we've got a nice high coming through here, and that is going to be labeled as this point. Let me get rid of the WOD machine for a second. As you can see, this is going to be labeled as this high here. You can see we're getting ever so close to breaking this high here on the RSI, right? And that's going to mean that we're not going to be breaking it here on in terms of the price action. So for that to happen, we'd need to break like 49,500, and it's quite a long way to get to that, right? So that's going to basically be forming some sort of bearish divergence coming through, which is an instigation for some sort of reversal in the price, right? Some sort of reversal in the price. So this is definitely going to be something to be looking out for, guys, especially as we're coming up to these really key points here for reversal for that V below resistance. So even though we are seeing a bit of a pump here for Bitcoin this morning, we're likely to see reversals coming through unless we can absolutely bang it to the moon and clear 49,500. There is going to be a bearish divergence to take into consideration there, guys. Now let me have a little look at the macadamia nut coming through here on on the midterm, sorry, on the short term here for Bitcoin. As you can see, as we were talking about yesterday, there's pretty key horizontal area in terms of a trend reversal point here for the MACD. This is something that we were talking about, and we were discussing the potential for a reversal of the trend there. And what do you know? It played out. It happened, right? And this is why we do use trend cycles and very strong horizontals coming through here on the MACD. I mean, they don't always play out, guys, but it's just a piece of information that we can be using as well there for reversals in the price, right? So yeah, overall, not too bad. I do want to say in terms of charting now, let's do some fresh TA, should we? Let's do some fresh TA. Let's probably bang a trend line down coming from there, because obviously these are the highs that we are seeing at this point in time. Obviously, we've got this high from this uptrend, well, from this point, right? This is the highest high from just ignoring that downtrend, right? And we've got lower highs, then we've got lower highs. What did we see on the 12th of December, a couple of days ago now? We saw us actually climb up, invalidate a very, very crucial lower high, which is technically quite bullish, but then unfortunately, we are setting lows of this trend, right? We are setting new lows, which is bearish, guys. So this is an instigation that we are probably going to actually have a reversal again from that zone. Another piece of information that we can be using there. Now, let's have a little look at the WOD machine ever so quickly, because volume weighted ATR band, hello, near enough touched us again, which is a very good bounce point to be looking out for. So if we are going to actually have continuation to the downside, probably something along the lines of that, probably going to bounce on this low again, and then probably have continuation to the downside again. This is going to be the bounce point that we're going to be looking for on the volume weighted ATR band, guys. Very, very crucial stuff. That's the bounce point that we're going to be looking for. Am I going to be longing from that zone? Probably not. I'm probably going to be looking for a better long here on the midterm, which we're going to get to ever so shortly. Ever so shortly, does that make sense? Not sure, probably not. But yeah, just to summarize here on the short-term time frame, we've got parallel channel, which we have broke down from. We're coming up for that retest of that parallel channel now, and also a bearish divergence, which has potential to play out here, guys, for the future. And yeah, I think it's just as the resistance, Viva la Resistance does want to play out today. So this is definitely something to be looking out for at around this 48,000. Even if we start pumping drastically, guys, please be aware. If we don't clear 49,500, that bearish divergence on the RSI that we were talking about there, that's still going to be valid, right? That's still going to be valid. So please take that into consideration. Now, let's move on to the midterm here for Bitcoin, because, I mean, we know what's going on here. We've been doing this for quite a while now. We've got the all-time highs coming through around 68, 69,000, that sort of area. We've got a parallel channel all falling down. The Viva la Resistance here is strong. What does that tell us? There's going to be resistance here at 50,000, 52K, that sort of area. Definitely a point to be looking out for there, guys, on the midterm here for Bitcoin. In terms of a point of support, yes, we have been gaining that pretty well along this trend line, this downward sloping support line here. And what do you know? Yesterday we did come and we did bounce off this zone, right? Seeing a bit of a nice bit of momentum to the upside. What's happening? A bit of nice momentum to the upside coming through here for Bitcoin, and that's what we are seeing here in terms of the title of the video. Rising, Bitcoin's rising, but what does this mean? So you can see we bounced perfectly off the volume weighted ATR band again. The momentum is there, the support is there, and what were we saying yesterday, guys? 46,500 was the place to watch. That was the place to watch. What do you know? We have a juicy bounce coming through there. Very nice indeed. We made the money on the short position, and now we're not, as I said, we're not looking to long this zone just because we've seen a bit of a pump. We're looking for a nice breakout, right? A nice breakout scenario. And the breakout scenario here for Bitcoin here on the midterm is gonna be quite nice, right? It's going to be quite nice. And when I say quite nice, I mean we're going to be looking at a measure move to the downside, looking something along the lines of this, guys. And then that's going to be obviously bringing us down like so. And that's going to be sending us down to prices around 38,000, right? I know, quite ambitious to the downside, but if Bitcoin is going to have the continuation of this trend, guys, trend is your friend. We're going to ride that bad boy until the end, right? That's basically what we're seeing here. We're not seeing any lower highs get invalidated. We're just seeing upwards momentum, or not any really crucial lower highs here on the midterm. It's just upwards momentum that we are seeing here. Downwards momentum that we are seeing here. So it's going to be very interesting to see when we do actually break this this downward sloping support line. And obviously we are going to be losing the volume weighted ATR band as well. When that does happen, we usually trend below it. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see when that does come into fruition there. Let's have a little look at the RSI coming through on the midterm, because we do have that, obviously, that bearish divergence that we did actually see play out here, guys. As we did see this play out. humongous dumps to the downside, right? So we can see how valid these actually are. Now, we do have potentially a bullish divergence here, and this is why we are seeing, I know it's very near enough horizontal, but it is still valid. It is still on the curve. It is still on the curve, guys. So yeah, this is still valid, and that's probably why we are seeing a bit of upwards momentum coming through here. In terms of resistance points, we were talking about 48,000 here on the short-term time frame. Definitely a point to watch, and you can see we got the 10 SMA coming down at 47,800, 900. We got the 21 moving average as well, coming at 48,100. And by the time that the price actually gets up there, we're probably going to see a correlative point around 48k, looking very, very, very congruent indeed. So what does that tell us? The resistance is really lining up along this zone, guys. So please be prepared for that resistance to play out, right? Now, that's pretty much it covered up on the midterm time frame, guys. We've got our divergences. We've got our potential move to the downside if we are going to be shorting Bitcoin here. Should we look at the DMI ever so quickly, see what's going on there? Because we've got the ADX actually rising up quite nicely around 25.59, and when we see this get above 20, and also so for me, I have checkpoints here for the DMI, for the ADX, and we've got 20, we've got 25. When we're above those levels, it instigates a stronger trend. If we're above 25, there is going to be a strong move coming, guys. There is going to be a strong move coming, so please be prepared for that. And you can see we've had that bearish crossover coming through, the negative crossing over the positive there, and that's going to be a bearish sign, which we are currently seeing here on the charts from when that crossover did come into fruition there. As you can see there, the humongous dump to the downside, right? So yes, nice piece of information to be using, guys, if you did want that. It's called the Directional Movement Index. You can use that. It's for free on TradingView, right? So yeah, it's pretty much the midterm done, guys. Let's look at the longer term time frame. As you can see, we have been talking about the longer term time frame for quite a while now in terms of this upward sloping parallel channel. You can see the resistance that we're getting from these zones. 53k was a point that we did really need to look out for. You can see the resistance that we did find on this zone really, really quite strong. So what does that tell us? If we see any sort of pumps to the upside, any sort of 48k getting validation, if we see 49.5 get tapped there, that's potential for invalidating this bearish divergence here. We're going to be looking at resistance after that, guys, here, especially here on the longer term time frame, right? So it's definitely something to be looking out for there. In terms of this grey box zone, we're pretty much, it's just a consolidation ranging point for us to be looking at in terms of support and in terms of resistance there. So yeah, we're currently in that zone. So it's a bit of a sideways ranging sort of area here for Bitcoin, I would say, until we see congruent points actually get lost. And when I say that, guys, you can see here this 200 EMA, when we did lose this, the momentum to the downside really does cement itself into the price action there. And you can see us actually just setting low after low after low, lower high, potentially lower high coming through at the resistance at 48k that we are talking about quite strongly there. If we bang it up through, amazing, but as I said, we're probably gonna find resistance at least up to 49,000. Is it 49,200? Yeah, 49,300 for simplicity's sake. That's definitely going to be an area to be looking out for there, for that pullback sort of momentum there. Yeah, that's pretty much Bitcoin, guys. I don't really want to waffle on about the longer term time frame that much because I literally do it every day. So I would say the RSI, we've got a pretty strong trend line coming down here. If we are going to range in this area, then we are going to see the RSI actually resume back to this zone, and then the resistance is going to play out. Whether that's going to be before we hit 48k or whether it's just going to be resistance playing out on sort of the shorter term time frames, and then we see a bit more of a stronger trend pattern coming through on the longer term time frames is all up for discussion at this point in time, right? But yeah, in terms of like a summary for crucial points to be watching here for Bitcoin, I don't really want to be losing like 44,465. If we lose that zone, you can see the support that we have on this zone, very, very strong indeed. If we lose that, then we're gonna see 41 get tapped, guys. We're gonna see 41 get tapped, and if that is gonna happen, what does that mean? We're gonna be getting lower than the most recent December the 4th crash, and we don't want to be doing that, guys. If we do that, it's just like another level of confirmation that we're going to be coming down, and yeah, so pretty scarce stuff coming through there if we are going to see Bitcoin actually cascade down in that sort of manner. And then if we lose 41, guys, Really awful. Then we're going to be talking about the whole May crash coming through there in terms of the price targets that we did see from before. The lowest point that I can see for Bitcoin right now is going to be this upward sloping support line. You can see the level of support we have had on this multiple times. You can see the volume weighted ATR band coming through there, if my head's not in the way. Yeah, the volume weighted ATR band coming through as well. This is going to be a very strong point, around 34,000 for a bounce there, guys. If we lose that, then then goodbye Bitcoin. No, obviously there will be lower prices get hit, but we'll talk about that when we get to these sorts of levels, right? And either way, guys, we're going to be making money regardless, right? We're here to trade either directions, either markets, either trends, right? And that's why we learn TA like this, so we can trade either side. If you're primarily familiar with trading like uptrends, just and you're not that confident with shorting and stuff like that, just go to your settings here and just click invert scale, right? You invert the scale and it changes your chart completely opposite way around. So instead of a downtrend, it actually looks like an uptrend, right? So if you're more familiar with doing that, then you can do that. It works the same sort of thing. Just make sure you're not longing instead of shorting. But yeah, that's pretty much Bitcoin covered, guys. And we will go into a bit more detail as the week progresses. But so far, yeah, that's pretty much what we are going to expect on a daily basis here for Bitcoin, right? Coming through there. But yeah, let's call it a day there for Bitcoin, I think.